Okay, let's talk about building a powerful internal communication strategy. We're going to break it down step by step, kind of like a blueprint for making your organization stronger, more connected, and honestly, way more productive. So, let me start with a question that I know is on a lot of leaders' minds. With so much hybrid and remote work, are you starting to see little cracks forming in your team's alignment? Do people seem a bit disconnected? Because if you get this wrong, teams can start to feel like they're just drifting, totally cut off from the company's real purpose.
And look, this isn't just a hunch, it has a huge impact. You're definitely not alone in thinking this is critical. A poll from Grammarly and Harris found that a massive 72% of business leaders say that strong communication directly boosts productivity. So this isn't some soft skill, right? It's a legit strategic asset.
Now, just like any good construction project, a great communication plan has to start with a rock-solid foundation. And what that means is, before you build anything else, you have to get super clear on what internal communication even is and what it's for. So let's get on the same page. Internal communication is not just about sending out company updates or another mass email. No way. It's the strategic lifeblood of your organization. It's about intentionally fostering engagement, getting everyone pointed in the same direction, and, at the end of the day, actually hitting your business goals. And the whole why behind this, well, it's all about hitting these critical business objectives. We're talking about reinforcing the company mission day in and day out, making it easier for teams to actually work together, and building the kind of deep trust that empowers people to do their absolute best work. You know, a complete strategy has to think about information flowing in all directions. It's not just about leadership talking down to everyone. It's also got to include feedback flowing up from employees, peer-to-peer chats where all the cool innovation happens, and of course, that super critical communication when things get chaotic, during a crisis, or a big change. Okay, so with that foundation in place, it's time to head over to the architect's table and start drafting the blueprint. This is all the really important thinking and planning that has to happen before you even think about launching a new channel or sending out a message. So this whole blueprinting phase really boils down to 5 key steps. You start with a really honest audit of what you're already doing. Then you talk to your people, you put together a dedicated team, you figure out who your different audiences are, and finally, you set some clear, measurable goals. To do a good audit, you have to ask some tough questions. Don't just assume you know what's working. You've got to dig into the data and actually ask your employees to find out what channels they really use and what they actually want to hear about.
And here's a crucial part of that blueprint. A one-size-fits-all approach is pretty much doomed to fail. Your plan has to slice up your audience. Think about it. How you talk to field technicians who are always on their phones is going to be totally different from how you talk to your full-time remote staff sitting at their desks all day.
All right, the blueprint is locked in, which means it's time to start building. This is where we take that plan and we put it into action, creating the actual structures that will lead to genuine active engagement from everyone.
And probably the most critical part of this whole build is making sure communication is a two-way street. It's not a broadcast, it's a conversation. I mean, just look at this stat from Salesforce. When employees feel like they have a voice, they are almost 5 times more likely to feel empowered. That is a massive difference maker for performance. So building for your people really means being super intentional about inclusivity. This looks like using a mix of channels, video, chat, newsletters, the whole shebang. It means making sure everything's accessible and, yeah, even creating those digital water cooler spots for the informal chats that build real trust and friendship. So a project isn't just done once the walls are up, right? A house needs regular inspections and maintenance to stay strong. Your communication strategy is exactly the same. This part is all about constantly getting better. And to do that right, you have to connect your big picture goals directly to real concrete numbers, your key performance indicators, or KPIs. So if your goal is to improve engagement, you'd better be tracking engagement scores. If you want to boost retention, you're watching those attrition rates. This is what makes success something you can actually measure, not just a vague feeling. And that leads to this crucial point. Your strategy has to be a living, breathing plan. It's not some document you create once and then file away to collect dust. You have to use those KPIs to do regular reviews, at least every quarter, and be ready to tweak and improve your plan based on what the data is telling you. Which really brings us to the big takeaway here. When all is said and done, what you've actually built isn't just a document. It's the entire architecture that supports a thriving, aligned, and super effective organization where everyone feels like they can do their best work. You've got the blueprint now. You know the steps. So really the only question left is, what's the very first brick you're going to lay to build a stronger, more connected team?